What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to the Tuesday edition, another edition of MVP Sports Live right here. You may be watching us on Twitch. You may be watching us on, as I like to call it, old boomer term, the YouTubes. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, how you doing today on this beautiful January 12th?
You know, I'm doing pretty well. All things considered, things going all right in my life. How about you?
You know what? It was a morning of... Didn't go to bed until 7 in the morning because the watch along be popping off last night.
That watch along after dark extended edition.
It extended into the morning, so far into the morning that so it was JD, Soapy, and Sean and myself. We're chilling out. Groovy's now a thing, so we've got music and shit. We were listening to WWE themes, and then at 5 retro popped in. The Australian, and it was like, fuck, I can't leave now. That would be rude to us. It wouldn't be rude to retro. It'd be rude to Australia. It'd be rude to the different time zone. Because he was like, I went on a trip today, and he goes, I saw you guys were in there, and he's like, I just got home, and he's like, I saw you guys were still in there. And he's like, shit, that's 5 in the morning your time. I was like, hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah.
Yes, it is.
But it was definitely a good morning. Soccer bets paid even. So I'm not in a bad mood, Dave. We'll see how the nightcap goes. But we got a jam-packed show, Dave. Talking NBA, talking football, and then talking baseball at the end. But we're calling in the lefty for that one. Jake Neverman will be on to talk Liam Hendriks and the good old White Sox. Before we get into everything, though, quick housekeeping as usual. Discord, join in if you're not in it already. It's the best community on the internet. We had a new person come in. Darth Midas came in at about 4:06, I want to say. So welcome, Darth Midas. If you want to join the Discord, that link down below, or / Discord in the Twitch chat. If you want to support us, you can do that 2 ways. One, patreon.com/MVP vids. Get rewarded, like getting mock drafts a week early. Some people watching videos, Dave, don't have ears that work, or they don't pay attention. It's either one of the things.
When you spend 2 to 3 minutes in the beginning of the video clarifying,
I thought I spent a while talking about
the circumstances around the video, and then literally within 12 minutes of posting that video, the comment is like, "Do you even watch, bro?" Oof.
Dude, that's the worst one. Do you even watch? But patreon.com/MVP vids. How you support us. Pat Hill, thank you, our Patreon producer. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch. If you have Prime Gaming, you haven't used it yet this month, throw it at us. You get basically a bronze level patronage for being a Twitch sub. That gets you into the watch along channels to talk sports with us when we're chilling in there.
Or just whatever.
Do it. Or just whatever. We now have the Ricky, Soapy made it, the Ricky's Disco Club Dance Hall, which is going to be the main channel for chilling, listening to music. In case there's people in the watch along that don't want the music's going on. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP vids. We're also on YouTube, MVP Sports. That's where you can make sure you're in tune to everything MVP. But Dave, like I said, jam-packed show. We'll start off with the basketballs, with the NBA. And there's some drama going down in Brooklyn, Dave. Kyrie Irving, the NBA is investigating a video of basically, so as the NBA is reviewing video circulating on social media of a maskless Kyrie Irving at what appears to be a family birthday party, there is no belief the Brooklyn Nets guard will return to the team's lineup this week, sources told ESPN. There's also been kind of rumors circling around Twitter that the reason Irving just fucking left was he didn't want to play basketball. It's I just didn't feel like playing. The thing I'm going to ask you, Dave, to just hold and start this is, yes, the main title of the video is going to be, should the Nets be worried? But what are your thoughts and what are you thinking when it comes to Kyrie Irving? Because yet again, I'm sitting here going, new team, same problems for Kyrie Irving.
I'm going to answer your question with one of the most interesting interviews, loose term, call-ins. Stephen A. Smith called in to do a quick statement on this one. And he was like, well, I don't think us peons even have the right to ask why Kyrie is not attending, showing up to practice, showing up to games. I love Stephen A. Smith when he just leans in and just gives it all, because when he hits full levels of sarcasm, he knows exactly what he's doing out there. He's putting on a good show. So shout out to Stephen A. Smith. Gets the love. But no, I mean, like, look, Kyrie Irving is never one who is easy to read. You know, he's always been a guy who has his own ideals. He has his own ideas, and he will follow whatever path he wants to. And you know what? Whatever conclusion he comes up with may not be right for a lot of people. May have been scientifically proven wrong. Doesn't really matter anymore. He's just there about questioning what you think. So I don't know if there's a clear answer on why he's doing this. If he doesn't want to play basketball, if it has more to do with the social movements going on right now. I know he has been a large donator for charities and getting together. I'll just say a large donator for charities and helping run things as far as trying to get social equality and trying to help people who are in need. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if it's just everything going on with coronavirus and perhaps something with his family. Yeah. Like, again, the video that was supposedly leaked was him at a family party. So who knows at this point? Am I concerned about this yet? Not really. I'll be honest. Like, the NBA looks like it's days away from shutting down again at this rate. So I think Kyrie is just kind of like, what's the point in playing at this point? You know, what I would love to hear is what the Nets locker room is saying. You know, so far it's all been supportive and like basically a nothing comment. I believe when their head coach was asked about it, was he would be returning. I think the question was something along the lines of like, will he be returning to the team? And he just kind of said, sure.
Sure. Whatever.
Just sure. So Steve Nash, excellent. Just giving the press exactly what they're looking for there. I don't know. It's such a weird situation. But at the same time, everything that's going on right now
is a weird situation.
Yeah, so I don't really know. Kyrie Irving's an interesting character, and he'll just go by his own, whatever.
Like, here's the thing. And you put out what?
Damn good question, Mad Rogue.
The Antonio Brown one. Do you think he'll be the NBA equivalent of AB?
I mean, he's got a lot less concussions than Antonio Brown.
Well, that's the sport in general, Dave. One has more than the other.
I'm just saying in general, like, one probably a leading cause of why Antonio Brown is the man he is today.
Good point.
If I had to take a guess, the concussion syndrome probably plays a major factor in that man's life.
Yeah.
But as far as personalities, Antonio Brown is the largest personality, I would say, like, off the field in the NFL. And I think that Kyrie Irving very much is in the same vein for the NBA.
And the thing I was going to get, like, to me, I don't know if I'm ready to put him on the AB level because, like, to me, like, I understand where that comparison comes from because AB at this point in his career was on the Steelers, championship organization. Things looked like they were going great for the Killer Bees. And then it was just AB self-destructed. I think Kyrie's kind of similar where the days of him and LeBron are kind of like the Killer Bee days. And ever since then, ever since Kyrie's like, I want to do it on my own, didn't work out in Boston. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, and Boston, yes, it was a unique situation. Yes, there was the Isaiah Thomas stuff that also went, they moved on from IT to bring in Kyrie. Yeah. My thought of him in Boston was more Kyrie's fault than like Danny Ainge and the Celtics.
I would say it's more of a Brad Stevens issue in Boston. But I think that Kyrie Irving is still an elite player is the difference. I think Antonio Brown went from the best wide receiver in football to maybe a top 20 wide receiver in football in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Whereas Kyrie in the games he's played this year has been elite.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking top 10 player in the league, elite.
And that's why I'm not questioning his talent. Like, to me, Kyrie has never been about his talent. He is talented. Yeah, he is one of the best point guards in this game. That's why with the Brooklyn Nets, I not only had them being the second seed in the East, I had them going to the NBA Finals from the East. Like, I'm not questioning that. For me, what I question with Kyrie Irving is, does he have the, I don't want to say the mental part to be a champion. Does he have it in him to do what he has to do, though, to basically think about the team first. Because like you said, you brought up a good point. If he's doing this because his thoughts are, you know what, COVID's going crazy and fuck it, like why should I play and risk it? However, to me, I look at that and go, well, if you were worried about COVID, you'd probably have a mask on while you're at a party, even if you're with family. Depends on who, if it's like immediate family that he lived with, that's fine. Cause like my mom who lives with me, or I live with her, whatever you want to put it, we don't wear masks around the house. But yet again, if someone's coming in, it's like, yeah, put a fucking mask on. That's what I believe. If you're outside the bubble, you don't want to cross-contaminate bubbles unless you're for sure. Like with me and you, our bubbles are different because we're kind of combined. Because my dad's been in contact with you, but it's like
me and my parents. Like, I don't leave my fucking house.
Yeah, neither do like
the amount of times I've left my house during all this. So like, I go over there and I don't wear a mask in their house, and they know that I haven't gone anywhere to expose myself. If anything, I would catch something from them because they're still going out. Well, not a ton, but it's just. They're the ones who are going out. Yes, I'll throw them on there. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I figure it's like grocery shopping and stuff like that.
It is grocery shopping.
And Kyrie, yet again, I am saying this as this is my opinion. I do not know Kyrie. I do not know his beliefs. But based on the other beliefs I've heard from Kyrie, it wouldn't shock me if Kyrie was an anti-masker or an anti-COVID guy. Like, that's just how I feel. Don't know if that's true. Not throwing it out there that it's true.
I find out on Twitter pretty quickly, I bet.
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was proven to be true. And to me, I feel like when you look at Kyrie and the teams he's been on, the only team he's been successful on is when he's had someone like LeBron to, the way I'll put it is keep him in check, keep him fucking focused. That's the thing. Like the thing with Kevin Durant...
we're going to go there.
No.
No. We're going there, Reiki.
Well, I don't even know where you want to go.
Kevin Durant's not a leader. Kevin Durant is a follower. Kevin Durant isn't the guy. He's a very, very good basketball player who is potentially a generational, if not the best scorer we've ever seen in the history of the NBA.
I wouldn't disagree. I wasn't going to
put
not a leader. I wasn't going to put it that harshly. Yeah, I wasn't going to look at it, like, say it that harshly, but we're kind of on the same side. Like, Kevin Durant to me on this Nets team isn't the guy where it's like, I'm the fucking dad. I got to make sure everything's in order. Kind of like what LeBron is. KD is to me probably one of those towards like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to just trust that you're going to do what you're going to do. Kind of like what we've seen from James Harden. Kind of like why Kevin Durant worked so well with the Warriors. Because A, he didn't need to be the leader. Steph and Clay were the leaders, and Draymond, like that was their team. But also, he didn't have to be like that. He knew, hey, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to trust that you three are going to do what you three are going to do, and we're going to win rings. You can't do that with Kyrie, though. Kyrie, to me, needs somebody that's going to keep him in check, keep him fucking focused on the game, because when he's focused, he's one of the best point guards in the league. It's just, are you going to get his effort each and every night? And are you going to fucking have him laser focused to where you're winning championships?
Counter question. Do they need him every night during the regular season?
No.
Is this a situation where...
They got to settle this by the playoffs.
I'm going to continue asking the question. I know the answer that you've given, but like...
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's that quick of a thing. They're that good of a team. No one thought... Well, a lot of people question if Kevin Durant would be this good coming off of such a dramatic injury that has impacted players' careers in the past. And he's, I think, a 66 true shooting percentage or 67 true shooting percentage out there, dropping almost 37 and 5 a night. Like, he's spectacular. So, no, this team doesn't need him out there every night. They're getting contributions from other guys. I do think that there are, nights where they could get a couple more victories. They could raise their overall standings because Kyrie's playing. They're a better team when he's out there, but this team is about winning a championship, and I don't think it really matters to them if he's the 2nd seed or the 5th seed at the end of the day. And I think, again, the timing of this whole thing kind of comes down to me to the social justice movement that he's been very outspoken about. So whether it is that or not, I don't know, but the timeline lines up very well with what happened in the Capitol and everything around that. So would I be shocked if he's taking some time to reevaluate some things in his career? No. I mean, I not shocked at all. But at the same time, it's like at some point, I think he'll be back to the team. I think he'll be playing basketball, and I think like there will be no issue. I don't think there's a rift on. I'm pretty sure if anybody had an actual problem on the team, we would have heard a leak by now. Like the NBA is one of the most outspoken leagues. Everybody's got a voice. Everyone's got a following.
Well, especially when you got Montrez on your team.
Well, different team. Yeah.
He'll leave and then he'll spoil everything.
True. He will leak the shit of everything in every locker room.
Quick aside. Ball starting tonight against the Nets.
Fuck yeah. We'll watch that game.
But yeah,
we got 6:30 start for Bowl.
I agree.
Ricky, end the show.
I agree with you, but I want to throw this out because JD said it twice in Twitch chat, and I want to see if you think, because yet again, it's a big thing. Something like this that happens in your life can kind of change how you kind of act. But yet again, it's do you get over it or do you let it kind of stick with you? JD says Kyrie's grandpa passed at the beginning of his final year with the Celtics. Do you think that's kind of like something to where like maybe did that hit him so hard to where basically from that point on, that's when we've seen basically a different Kyrie towards like, this ain't the Kyrie that we knew before this.
I mean, I think losing a close family member like that definitely can change your perspective on a lot of things. And again, like, I don't know if it was a situation where his grandfather helped raise him or how close they were, but like, I'm just going to assume probably very close. And yes, that, losing someone close to you is going to change your life forever. So I'm not going to say it had nothing to do with it, but like Kyrie at this point feels like it's like, this is who he is as a person. He was never like a quiet guy on his time, even with Cleveland. He was always someone who was outspoken. So it's a situation where it's like, this is a guy who will not be afraid to come out and say what he thinks, regardless of what the critics say. And you know what? The fact that he's being quiet right now raises more questions as well. And I don't think that I get the whole, like, the media wants to know what's going on. Everybody wants to know because it's a story, because it's drama. But it's like, I'm sure when he's ready, he will tell us. Like, I don't think we'll know a minute before because no one's going to leak it, because I don't think he's told anyone.
And like with your question of like, does this hurt? Does the Kyrie drama hurt the Nets like regular season? No, I think like the only reason we're really like talking about it right now like that is that they lost their last two. He hasn't played in the last four, I believe. So it's like when you lose your last two to teams like I want to say the Thunder and the Grizzlies were the last two they lost to. Fact check me if I'm wrong because I'm not looking at it.
Thunder and Grizzlies, you are correct.
Okay. It's like when you got teams like that, people raise an eye because it's like, fuck, Kevin Durant should be able to beat the Thunder, right? Like maybe the Grizzlies are a team that without John Morant.
Jaren Jackson Jr. were both out in that game as well.
So like two opponents that KD should beat.
Like, again, he had good games, but not everybody on the team played well.
Yeah. And that's why it's like, my answer would be no, shouldn't worry about it right this second for the regular season. I'd only worry about it in sense of, is all this going to brush to the side by the playoffs? If this goes, and yet again, the next topic will even determine if we have a playoff. But I mean, if we get to the playoffs and shit like this is still going on, then yeah, I'm worried as a Nets fan because I think it could derail their playoff performances.
Yeah.
But I don't think it hurts their regular season. Yeah.
But yeah.
And they're a team, like you said, championship or kind of bust at this point. Because, they'll be back next year, but they are a team that everyone is thinking has a high percentage to get through the Eastern Conference to the finals. That's kind of what I mean. It's not over if they don't win a championship this year, though.
Let's pin all our hopes on the guy coming off of a torn Achilles fucking injury. Okay, here.
I mean, at this point, the fucking Sixers, the Sixers might make the finals at this point.
Like, I think I think realistic expectations are this is a deep playoff run team. Yeah. Would anyone be surprised if they're in the championship? No, but at the same time, I don't believe they're any longer favorites because of Spence being out. So I think that with what we've seen this season, obviously the Celtics, the Celtics, the 76ers, and the Bucks look like the teams to be favorites in the East. We will see what happens as the season goes on. It is a very long season, we think, but we'll find out next.
And we'll move into that. So today, the NBA and the National Players Players Association reached a agreement, and I'm just going to read the first two paragraphs from the article. Dave, as the NBA tightened coronavirus protocols to try to preserve a season-threatening amid positive tests, thinning rosters and game postponements, the league made a dramatic change that most franchises had wanted all along: the closing off of rooms to non-team guests in road hotels. The NBA and National Basketball Players Association on Tuesday reached agreement on several more revisions to policy, including the league further limiting movement of players and staffs on road trips, and the league is no longer allowing players and staff to leave hotels for non-team activities, and it is eliminating visitors to hotel rooms, which one GM had told ESPN had been the Mack truck driving through all of our protocols. Dave, I look at this and I go, my first thought is, isn't this what I was saying, like, not even a week ago, like on Friday, where it's like, don't leave, like, if you're on the road, don't leave the hotel. Like, you're there for team business. Like, it's basically you're on a field trip and the teacher won't let you leave. You stay with your group. What are your thoughts? Because I know you have a rant.
This is the Daniel House rule.
Yeah, it is.
This is the Daniel House. This is 100% the Daniel House. It is named after him. I will key that in now if nobody hasn't taken credit for it already.
We'll make a shirt, Daniel House, the Daniel House protocol.
I mean, basically, no booty call on the road. That's the girls on the road are a problem.
Dude, the side pieces, man.
Who's coming in? Who's leaving? You're gonna dress them up in your team's fucking hoodie, right? That's what it was. He had her wear a Rockets hoodie to try to sneak her in and out. God, what a genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it's fucking ridiculous, you know? And not in the way you think. Like, it's ridiculous that they're complaining, and I've heard players already complain about this. Like, we laughed about the whole Steven Adams thing in the bubble.
Dude, fucking spot on though.
Bubble, people want, people are asking for therapists because this is something like that they're not used to being restricted on their freedom. But then Steven Adams is like, it's a fucking resort.
Yeah.
Like, we get up, we go to practice, we get to play basketball games, and we go back to the resort.
You're fucking living a better life than most of the people in America right now.
Of America. Like, I'm sorry.
Don't got to worry about losing that rent. You know what I'm saying? Woo, landlord not going down your back.
In the real fucking world right now, they get up from their house, they go to work, and they come right back home because there's nowhere else they can go because there's a fucking...
Dave, so that's an essential worker though. What about someone who doesn't have a job? They wait. No,
Ricky.
Essential. What about the ones who wake up, don't have a job to go to, but then go, shit, how am I gonna fucking get this money? Because for some reason my landlord still wants a fucking payment when I can't provide money.
We've been deferring on that for a while.
No, I know. It's been a problem for a while, but I'm still gonna bring it up.
Someone who stay up until 7 a.m. who doesn't have a job. Would you like to tell us about that?
See, here's the thing and this is the only two reasons why I'm blessed. One, I have great parents. Best parents in the world. Two, what I did was, so I knew how my last job did its paycheck. Basically, over the summer as a teacher, some schools give you a paycheck each and every week. My school was lazy. What they would do is say, here's your entire summer's paychecks, because everyone in the main office wanted to go on like summer vacations. So I took that, like $4,000, put it in the bank and was like, this is my pot. This is my pot to use, hopefully to get through this time where I won't have a job. Yet again, luckier than some. I realize that. But yeah, you're fucking at even when you're on the road going to Washington to play a game in Washington, you still don't have to worry. Like, you're at a nice hotel. And that's the thing, yet again, Chainsaw brought this up when we were in the watch along. It's the debate of getting paid how much to play a child's game, which I love to bring up, because it's like, if this is your job, because technically it's their job, but it's not really a job. They're just playing a game for money.
They're an entertainer.
Yeah.
They're a entertainer.
If this is your job, that's what your focus should be on. So, okay, we're going to Washington for this game. My mindset is on, all right, what team activities do I have to do? When are practices? Where's the game? That's all your mind should be focused on. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, they're real humans. Well, your job should be focused on winning. Not about what's going on. Like, oh man, what biddy am I going to meet when I'm in Washington? That should be on your mind.
I don't disagree. I think the whole fact that people complain about the fact they can't go out, when they get home is ridiculous. The fact they can't go out on the road when they're like you said, if you're in Miami, well, guess what? Florida restrictions are non-existent. So like there are players who had been going to clubs. Yeah. There are people who on those trips are going out, and that has to stop. And it's like, where do you think that all this sickness is coming from, people? Like, what is going on in your world where this is a...
Dave's like, I can't even fucking explain it.
We are 10 months deep into this fucking shit in America. And this is still a question mark to some people. And that's what boggles my mind. And
I'm an American. I'm a patriot. You can't take away my freedoms, Dave.
And it's like they're just being introduced to this for the first time. Yeah. They're like, wait, we can't do what we want to do? Hang on, motherfucker. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a fucking game that matters to no one.
Jake, you can't take away my freedoms. This is America.
That's exactly what this is.
It's the Stan Marsh. Oh, I thought this was America. This was America.
If you don't want to go from hotel to hotel or from hotel to arena to hotel, sorry, maybe sit out the season. Like this situation where I think Adam Silver needs to come down harder on these guys. Yep. And it won't make him popular. I saw an article out there about Adam Silver's popularity amongst players and GMs versus David Stern's. Yeah. David Stern came down very hard, and a lot of the stuff out there about him was like, early on it seemed like it carried maybe a racial undertone, that he had some issues, but like over time, David Stern, I think, tried to present he always tried to prop up the better image of the NBA and tried to present a business forward kind of thing. Adam Silver is very much a power to the players kind of a I don't even know. Like he's more of a player.
He's a player commish.
Yeah, than a league commish. He's a player's first commissioner, and I think that's great. But at the same time, he can't be walked over by everyone. Like when something like this is going on. Like I think he needs to set a better. And I get that like these are new restrictions being put in place for them. It's common fucking sense, and under most states, that would be the rules. Like that's the thing. The NBA is always like, well, it depends on what city I'm in this week. What can I do? Like back when weed wasn't legal in most places, every time people go to Denver, there were always the jokes about that shit. Like
Denver, like the NFL, Seattle was a big one.
Yeah. Remember when D'Lo got caught on a plane with like a bunch of weed? Like that was hilarious. Yeah. Because like it was legal where I was going from, but not where I'm going to. Whatever. Happens. Different rules, different places. But in the US, like right now with COVID, the fact that they're unhappy about it, sure, you can be unhappy. But if I have to hear a millionaire complain about having to go from hotel to arena to hotel, I'm going to fucking like...
Dave, ready? I got it. Because I got my Christmas money right here. Oh, man, let me wipe my tears, Dave. I got to wipe my tears. All this money.
If you don't want it, just chill for the season. Vaccines are literally coming this year. What is the fucking hurry?
Yeah. I almost poked my eye out with a corner of those
live a responsible lifestyle. Just sit out the season. There's literally no detriment. I don't get it, and I have no sympathy for players at this point.
The way, and I'm gonna throw this out because this popped in.
That's why I need a drink, Ricky. That's why you're like,
thank you. Yet again, no. I didn't know it was gonna go into this. I thought it would be like a we'll mention it, their new protocols, but you're right. There's a lot to bitch about here.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's just. I'm going to throw this out, and this goes back to a point I made on Friday, and then I made on Monday yesterday, because, like Soapy said, it feels like fucking Wednesday today for some reason.
It does kind of.
Yeah, it's weird. But, like, if I'm Adam Silver, this is how I maybe lay down the law. It's like, all right, this is how it works. You get, like, if you want to go extra lenient, you get 2 free strikes of, like, the first one is a slap on the wrist. The second one's a fine. The third one, you're out for the year. You're suspended for the year. Deal with it. Or if you want to go extra harsh, first one's a fine. Second one, you're suspended. Because eventually the point has to be there to where it's like, if you're not going to do what needs to be done, because Pat McAfee takes all of us. It takes all of us. If you're not going to do what needs to be done, well, guess what? You basically get punished. You don't play this game. And basically at that point, like the only thing legality that would go into it is at that point, it's are you paying them to just sit at home? Or is it you got suspended, you're losing out on game checks because you're an idiot?
I prefer that one.
I prefer that one too. But yet again, legality, can they do that?
No, it endangering your teammates. I'm sure there's some clause around that because if you're caught going out at, say you go to a nightclub, say you pull a James fucking Harden, but you're not James Harden, so you don't have the fucking cachet to just be like, what you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm your whole fucking team. I think they go into the you're now in the protocol. You will lose game checks until you pass 5 days and test negative every day. Like that
actually works. The first time they get fined and go on the protocol, that's kind of like a slap in the wrist. And then it's if they do it again, well, we told you once. Exactly. Obviously, you're not getting the message. You're out for the year.
Yeah.
Deal with it. It's your fault, not ours.
There has to be some level of ownership amongst this. And that's the frustrating part. As a fan of the NBA for, literally my entire life, I think David Stern needs to try to step up and enforce better rules around this because it's clear that in America, it's not going to happen. But you have a small group of under 500 people that you can work with, and you can set standards that you don't have to take the easy way out. You don't have to just say, well, if everybody else is okay with it, we're okay with it too. No, do what's best for the brand. Do what's best for the NBA.
For the brand, Dave. For the brand.
I know the brand. It literally was the first thing to come to my head. But I want to say Shield, but I know the Shield is the NFL.
JD brings up a good point. I want to clarify. We're not talking about players that get COVID. We're talking about breaking quarantine. Yeah. Because like JD said, not everyone who gets COVID breaks protocol.
I agree.
However, if you get COVID and then through the tracing it's found out, well, you got COVID because you're a fucking idiot because you were the one that broke quarantine, then that's a different story.
No, but I don't find people for getting sick.
But if you got sick because you broke quarantine, that is different than I got sick because my dumbass teammate broke quarantine. Basically, you have to break quarantine to get punished. That's the crux of it.
I'm saying I understand getting sick, from being a teammate of an idiot versus being the idiot yourself.
Yeah.
Is different in yes, I agree with that, but I'm not punishing them. I'm not punishing anyone for getting sick. I'm punishing people for breaking the rules that we're going to set. The need to be you can't go out and risk your teammates' health because you feel like going out on a night and getting it in.
It's not even the fucking we're talking about the players. What about the fucking the staffers, the people that are still working at the stadiums, even though that fans aren't there?
Some fans are in stadiums, Ricky.
Yeah, and so I forgot about that. Chainsaw brought that up, and I fucking was like, oh yeah, Texas and fucking Florida are a thing. I guess. Which apparently, Dave, Soapy told me this. Fun fact before we move on into Wet Boys. Yeah. Alabama man has trumped Florida man. You want to hear why?
How is that possible?
He got attacked by a squirrel that he put on a leash and trained. His attack squirrel, he called it.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he had an attack squirrel.
But in Florida, they have alligators, so I don't think they're Sorry, Bama. That's some weak ass shit. Come on,
it sounded better at fucking 5 a.m. A lot of things sound better at 5 a.m.
I'm sure they
Ted Mosby, if it's after 2 a.m., just go to bed. Just go to bed if it's after 2 a.m. Bobo with the 3. Let's go. But Dave, let's move away from the NBA. Let's go into a segment we love and talking about the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our Wet Boys, players of the day from the day prior. How it works is Dave gets a Wet Boy, I get a Wet Boy, and then the patrons at silver level and above, patreon.com/MVP-vids, get to vote for a Wet Boy each and every day. It was a tight 3-player race for the patron Wet Boy. Can't wait to see who ended up getting the votes. I know, I'm just teasing that for you.
Yeah.
But Dave,
didn't you know? I hope you know.
We will start with you. Who's your Wet Boy January 12th, 2021? Because there was even a decision that you had to make.
This was a tough one. They're both dear friends of mine.
Friends of the show.
Friends of the show. They watch. I know you're watching. I know you're watching right now. Gordon Hayward is my wet boy. And you know why? Mm-hmm. It's because he was ragged on by the entirety of the NBA for forcing his way out of the Boston Celtics, an organization where he was pushed into the fourth man role, which he did. He did a great job. He played well. I mean, yes, he wasn't healthy every night, but the man played well when he was available. Everybody ragged on the contract, thought it was ridiculous, was like, well, why would he want to go down to the Hornets? Why wouldn't he take the deal to agree? Why wouldn't he agree to the situation potentially? Again, this is all Danny Ainge's ass it's coming out of. Going to the Pacers, playing in hometown, where he went to college, all that fun stuff. No, we're going to the Hornets. We're playing with LaMelo Ball. We're winning basketball games. Great culture pick. And I love the idea of the fact that, like, this team has the veteran leadership of Gordon Hayward. They've got a bucket getter in Terry Rozier. They've got young talent surrounding them, like, literally across the board in every other position, outside of Bismack fucking Biyombo, which is just, I can't explain. That man's still having a job in the NBA right now, but that's neither here nor there. This is all about Gordon Hayward having a wonderful performance in a comeback year, which is pretty much like his announcement that, like, I'm back. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm scoring. I'm rebounding. I'm facilitating. I'm playing defense, doing all the little things that make this team a better team. And I think they're outperforming my expectations out the gates. And I'm thrilled for Gordon Hayward and this young team.
Dave, I want to point something out to you because I noticed these things while doing the Wet Boy graphic. And I'm going to put Gordon Hayward up again. Is it just me or is his eyes extra blue? And they pop more because of the fucking Charlotte jersey. Am I wrong with that?
It might pop a little bit there. Yeah, it might pop a little bit.
I was looking at that.
But you know what? The hair, the hair there, not popping high enough. He needs to
the gif where you go like this and it's a fucking sloppy to clean. But yeah, I looked at that and I was like, fuck, his eyes look like they've been fucking like altered in Photoshop. I swear I did not Photoshop his eyes. Dave, my wet boy, I had to go away from the NBA for this one, Dave.
Sorry, next guy.
Had to go away from the NBA because, Dave, there was a guy that had himself a game yesterday. Yes, I know.
What other games happen outside of the NBA, Ricky? Why don't you tell me that?
It's the college football playoffs, baby. Alabama kicking the shit out of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Who they? Roll Tide.
It's what we wanted and what we asked for.
Exactly what I wanted. God, I hate the Buckeyes. Sorry, Buckeyes fans. I'm an Illinois fan, so fucking I hate you guys.
There's gonna be some hate in there.
But Dave, the funny thing, and this is something yet again, with my new getting into sports betting, I was looking at the game. First off, I was thinking not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole because there was no way I thought Ohio State wins or covers in this game. But there was a prop that I was like, ooh, this may hit. There were two of them. One was the one that DeVonta Smith gets 2 touchdowns because he's my wet boy. That he gets 2 touchdowns. The other one was that he gets 3 touchdowns, and that's what he got, Dave, 3 touchdowns.
Oh, shit.
So if you bet on both of those, you would have won money. Yet again, it's one of those where it's like I played it safe because I didn't know what to expect from this game. But it's one of those where I'm like, man, I should have fucking trusted myself and bet on him. Fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal.
He was on. You can't defend that. Like, at the college level, you can't defend that guy. And I felt bad for Ohio State for trying to defend that because that was just embarrassing.
Now, yes, Sermon got injured. He had to leave the game early. And Ohio State fans are going to go, oh, yeah, one of our best corners are out, so that's why. No, he's really fucking good. It
didn't matter who was guarding him.
There's a reason why he is the first player since Desmond Howard 91 to win the Heisman. At the wide receiver position. Shit is fucking crazy. He deserved it. Mac Jones also played very well. Had 6 touchdowns in the game. I almost went between them, but I'm like the wide receiver with 3 trumps the quarterback with 6.
A lot of people are just being like, well, when you're surrounded by the best wide receiver in the nation, the best offensive line in the nation, it's not too hard to throw a couple dimes out there.
Game manager, Dave. We're calling him a game manager?
First round pick, Mac Jones?
It's between him and Trask. There may be 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, Dave. 5 for sure, maybe 6. That would be insane.
Can't wait for that 2.0.
But Dave, the patrons, it is time to see who they decided. It was a 3-player race between Bradley Beal, CJ McCollum, and Harrison Barnes.
Ooh. But
CJ McCollum is your patron, wet boy. Hit a fucking game-sealing shot against the Tampa Bay Raptors. Pascal Siakam, people were saying, I feel so bad for Pascal Siakam. I had a great game, but he lost. Blazers on a roll. It's the traditional MVP reverse curse where we talk about did we overhype them, and then they go off.
Should we be worried about them? Did we overhype them? Is the sky falling? The only sad thing out of this is I think Nurkic is dead. Like he left the game with a quad injury, but he's been playing like ass all year.
Yep.
He's clearly not healthy in the first place. Why am I not seeing more Harry Giles? Why am I seeing Enes Kanter get more minutes than Harry Giles?
You saw Harry Giles in that fucking Blazers-Kings game, Dave, that I watched because I had money on that game. I was like, Harry Giles is in. I didn't want Harry Giles in the game because I needed fucking Dame to go off, but he didn't.
Right, that's fair. Harry Giles isn't exactly good golf, but he should be getting minutes, not Enes Kanter.
Dude, it's 24/7 champ time. Enes Kanter, baby. Former 24/7 the I-95 Christmas Day champion, Enes Kanter. A center is dead? ? By Mad Rogue.
The position as a whole is dead, but that's the topic for another day.
Yeah. But Dave, let's go into some football. First football thing we're going to talk about has to do with my wet boy, DeVonta Smith, because there are some questions today, Dave, based off his performance, based on the Jets' position at number 2. Some say they should go with Some say they should go with the quarterback. Some say, no, we got to take Penny Sewell. We got to protect Sam Darnold. I got ripped in my mock draft, by the way. Go check it out. It's on our YouTube page if you haven't already.
Small tangent.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, can you say? I had some thoughts that should not be said on Twitch.
I'm going to say it. There's a lot of idiots out there, Dave. There's a lot of idiots. Two things that, and I know they say never read the comments. We fucking read the comments because it's not something to where it's like, and I don't want this to seem like we judge our commenters. If you have a good comment, there's no problem in that. It's when you come with the shit like number 1, I spend, like Dave mentioned earlier, a good 3 minutes of the video at the beginning saying hey, I know most of you are seeing this after Wild Card Weekend, super Wild Card Weekend, but I'm recording this after week 17. It goes on Patreon first. It comes out to you guys after. I had a comment that was like, do you even know the order? The Jets are at 23. They're not at 27. Yeah, who saw the fucking Rams beating the Seahawks, motherfucker? Nobody. That's number 1. Number 2, this is why you watch videos all the way through, folks. I had one team, I'll say this. I had one team trading up for a quarterback, said fan of said team, said, you're an idiot. We don't have enough picks. We're giving away too much to get a quarterback. I stopped watching. I replied and said, hey, just so you know, start watching here because I had your team trade a player to get back into the first round. You get 2 first rounders and you get a fucking future pick next year. So just watch the whole thing. There's a plan to these things, especially with us.
Up here, this empty space?
Yeah.
Try to use this.
I know your team has not a lot of picks. So I'm going to try to get you picks later on. I play it like a GM, not like I'm some fan on YouTube, which is hard because a lot of people do it the second way. But Dave, what's up?
I had to let you get that out there. Yeah. I know.
it would just sit with me. It's like a boy Retro says. When you get like that, all right, breathe easy, son. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just got to let it go. Let it go. Yep. But DeVonta Smith, some saying they should go quarterback at 2, others Penny Sewell. Some saying maybe trade back and get an edge rusher or a cornerback in the top 10. But there is some chatter today, Dave, that the Jets should say, fuck it. We have Sam Darnold, new coach coming in to work with him. Let's go ahead and grab DeVonta Smith. I know there's debate between people, and for me, it's going to take a little bit more of now that the season is over, really diving into said film because DeVonta wanted to wait until his season was officially over, of who's the number one wide receiver, because there's 3 of them that could be top 10 talents in Waddle, Chase, and Smith. I will ask you, if Smith, let's say he is the number 1 on the big board, he is your number 1, should the Jets go ahead and take Smith at number 2 and pair him up with Sammy D in New York?
Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. This man needs time to breathe. Mm-hmm. And they did go out last year and draft a left tackle, I believe, for him.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like he has no one up front, but he needs more protection. And that's the key to young quarterbacks, is protection and a safety blanket. Now, no one's going to say that the Jets have wide receiver talent, because they fucking don't. They've got Jamison Crowder, who at this point in his career should be a slot receiver. Like, he should be a number 3 on a team. Best case scenario, number 2 on a team. Not your number 1 and only fucking hope to ever catch a fucking football.
Yeah.
God, that's terrifying as a Jets fan. You guys need help. The best case scenario is someone is so anxious to get their future quarterback that they're trading up for that number 2 spot, and you can trade back and get more capital. You need to get more capital. You have so many holes to fill. As Eric said, the Jets need a lot of help. They need a whole heap of help on that team. So if I'm the Jets, I'm literally going around to every team and just lying and be like, so we're thinking that, Zach Wilson's going off the board at 2.
Yeah.
I don't see a way that Zach Wilson's making it to 3, guys, unless you're interested.
Yeah.
Like, I can be convinced that I got Sam Darnold. He's a great kid. I love this kid, Sam Darnold. But Zach Wilson's up here, or Penei Sewell, depending on which team you call it. If you call the Bengals, like Penei Sewell, he's like a lock. But like, let's be honest, I could use some help down the road. So like, maybe we could work out a deal. And you try to Fields is ahead of Wilson. I don't know after last night.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Here's what I'm gonna say about the quarterback thing, and this is how I think the Jets handle the conversation. Is like, for example, if they call the Panthers, which apparently Carolina fans hate Teddy Bridgewater, that I think is asinine. They got so many comments that we need Trey Lance, we don't need fucking Micah Parsons. I'm sorry, you have fucking Teddy Two Gloves, who did well this year. Slow your roll. You don't need a quarterback this year. I would just call up any team with the like, even calling the Panthers, I would just say, yo, bro, like, I'm getting a lot of chatter about a quarterback. If you want your guy, I'm getting a lot of chatter about all 3 of them. Like, then anyone could go here. So if you're worried your guy might not be there, I don't know. He might not, because I might be trading with the Falcons at 4. They may take your guy.
I'd rather not have one of the Falcons. I'd rather someone like you guys had the chance to get him, because I don't got to deal with you guys.
Dude, I love you. I love you. You're my you're my bestie. I don't want to give him to Atlanta. They're not going to give me Julio Jones.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
No, I think that should be their number 1 strategy. And obviously, if we know it, then everybody else knows it.
Yeah.
So like, good luck with that. But it's not to say it can't happen, because this is such a quarterback-centric league. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a chance to win games. Period. As a Bears fan, I can tell you this: we are fucking useless without a quarterback. We will never win a championship without a quarterback. So it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, why have a rebuild if you don't have your quarterback? That's where you need to start. That's where you need to address, and you have to address it at the top of the draft. So I think that they hold the power here. Now, I'm saying no vehemently to wide receiver at 2 here, because as good as Smith is, as good as Chase could be, I don't believe either one of these guys is going to be a game changer for this Jets team. I think this Jets team needs help in multiple positions. I think it turns into a situation maybe similar to like what the Giants had, where Odell Beckham was so good, but it didn't matter that Odell Beckham was good, because the rest of the team was horrid at key positions. So you need to take like the holistic approach of like, let's try to move back only a couple spots, just a couple. No, not too far. I'm not going back to the 20s. I've already got a late pick in this draft. I don't need a second late first rounder. Let's address some key needs for this team. Build up our defense, build up the offense, get some good guys we need across the board. I'm 100% in on that. And again, like free agency, we talk about, there are some wide receivers available in free agency as well, who could be guys who could make an instant impact and you don't have to pay the world for. So
yeah, I
can't pull the trigger on Smith. I love the kid. Watching him play is hilarious, because it's just like, How are you supposed to stop this kid against any other collegiate athlete? But in the NFL, we will see. That's all.
This is why what I think that to me, there's two thoughts that I'm going through if I'm a Jets GM right now or in the Jets front office is, well, three thoughts. One's kind of a precursor thought. Number one, I have a shit ton of picks this year. They have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total picks this year. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks in the top 100. 6 in the top 100, 7, 8 in the top 50, 9 in the top 200, and then, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 overall. So you have a lot of picks. You have some wiggle room if you do want to move up and get a guy later in the draft too. But if I'm the Jets, if I am drafting at 2 and staying at 2, because that's the question, DeVonta Smith at 2.
You put me in that box.
No.
I'm not doing it.
I say no. The only guy I am taking it to if I am drafting is Penny Sewell. And then my thought is, I know people are going to say, Mekhi Becton, you brought it up. They drafted him last year, left tackle. Yep. Is it really the end of the world if you say one of you guys is playing the right side? No, it's our new coach's, basically it's his job then to, my thought is Sewell would then go on the left side. Becton, we're going to teach you the right tackle position.
Not a big stretch. So I think having both tackles covered, you feel so much better about that offensive line.
Or fuck it. Yeah. You know what? I think I'd put Sewell on the, basically part of me is saying, do you put Sewell on the right side? Cause I'm thinking Darnold's,
is he lefty?
Wait, I'm trying to think how the line would be. I'm trying to think. I'm putting my better one on the left because he's a righty. So basically, you want your better blocker defending the blind side of Sam Darnold because that's where his back would be, was to the left side. No, he's a lefty, so the righty would be. Good catch, Jake. He is a lefty. So the right side would be his blind side then, if I'm thinking correctly. What the fuck are you talking about, Jake? He is a righty. Jake's fucking with you in Twitch chat.
I literally asked the question. I didn't say I knew an answer. I asked the question.
Yeah, and Jake is Jake, you're no longer allowed to fucking talk until you're on the show. That's what I'm saying. You're fucking me up. So
I asked the goddamn question out loud, and you're like, oh, fuck Dave. He's an idiot.
So we got our answer, Dave. He's a righty. Left side, your blind side. Like I said before, I shouldn't have second-guessed myself. I knew the right answer. I second-guessed myself, Dave. That was the problem. Basically, I want the most important blocker on my blind side. Like, that's number one. Have both of them there. Your riches on the offensive line. However, if a team like the Falcons, like the Lions, like the Panthers, any team want to trade up for a quarterback, I would not be against getting at, let's say, their first and then 2 extra picks in this draft plus a pick in the next draft. You're probably going to get a first rounder next year plus this first rounder, maybe a 4th and a 5th maybe for that second is what you could probably get, depending on how low they are. Like, I'm thinking if it's like the maybe Panthers or Lions. And then at that point, if I'm at 7 or 8, all right, now DeVonta Smith may be in play. And Jamar Chase even may be in play. It may just be whoever's the best wide receiver there. I'm going to go and get them because I can get an offensive tackle either later in the first because they've got the Seahawk pick, which is now locked in at 23 after a super wildcard weekend. And they also fucking have the 34th pick in the second round. Like, for me, they have options with their first 3 picks to where they can either take an offensive tackle early, then go defense running back would be what I target with the next 2 picks. Or they trade with the Broncos, they trade with the Lions, the Panthers, anybody who wants a quarterback in that top 10, take a wide receiver. Then you're kind of thinking, oh, do I go tackle and running back? That's kind of what I would do. If an ETN's there at 23, I take ETN. If ETN is gone, I take either a tackle or a defensive player. And then at 34, if Najee Harris is there, he's my guy. I feel like one of the picks at 23 and 34 have to be a running back, because they need a running back more than they need a wide receiver. But if you're at 2, wide receiver's not on the board for me. It's Penny Sewell or bust. Or Penny Sewell or trade, I should say.
Safe?
Ask
because
me.
that's what you're telling me.
Ask me after. Right now, I'm talking about if I was a coach. I think Sam Darnold's
we know
good.
who the coach is going to be, apparently.
Yeah, like, I feel like Sam Darnold can be successful with the Jets. Adam Gase was the problem. That's what I feel like. I mean, you look at the Jets and what happened with them. Adam Gase was there. They looked like dog shit. Fucking Flores comes in, and then it's like, hey, look it, they're actually a football team. They can play. So yet again, like I think Adam Gase was mostly the problem with Sam Darnold. I think you could bring in a coach that works well with them, but if they bring in a coach
available, just fresh out the doors from Philly,
Doug Peterson, baby, go ahead and get him
if you
want him.
Peterson already has the job.
Yeah, that's the rumors that was immediate. Like we mentioned when we talked about Peterson getting fired yesterday. Apparently, he has a really good relationship with the GM of the Jets to where it might be his job. Yet again, would you think Peterson would want to work with Sam Darnold? I don't see why he wouldn't.
I don't have any reason to say no, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fun about all this is like there's so many unknowns leading up to this draft with the amount of front office openings and coaching openings. We will have to wait and see what happens, but I think Sam Darnold seems to be safe at this point. I would probably say 80-20 safe on Sam Darnold.
Yep.
We're looking to build and move forward with this Jets team as is.
Yeah. Number 2 to me is like, I'm going to say one more time, Sewell or trade. Sewell or trade. Those are the only 2 things I'm thinking about. Dave, last football topic. This is kind of a tag on to what we talked about last week. So Deshaun Watson, we know, wants to be traded. One team we didn't really talk about in that segment were the Dolphins because
we did talk.
I mean, it was one of those where it was kind of like, no, the Dolphins shouldn't, but now there's more chatter with him to the Dolphins. What?
I'm pretty sure at the time there's no reason for them not to be interested.
To me, it was more of a, you got Tua Tagovailoa, you don't have to trade for Watson. You have Tua.
Sir.
Now people are thinking, well, yeah, they should swap Tua for Watson. I will ask you, I know your answer now because you've kind of played your hand. Should the Dolphins flip Tua for Deshaun Watson?
Hells yeah, you should flip Tua for... Hell yeah. Okay. Deshaun Watson is a supremely athletically talented quarterback who can make every throw, who has shown fourth quarter heroics, stuff that you don't get to see out of a guy called Tua Tagovailoa because he gets benched in the fourth quarter so you can bring in the fucking beard. Like, that's one thing right out the gates that you have the confidence in a known talent. Tua could be great. He could be terrible. You don't know. Right now, all that we know is he can complete a 5-yard out route really well. That's the extent of what I know about Tua Tagovailoa. Like, he had one game in which he showed that he could make all the throws. Since that game, he has not shown dick. So I'm at that point where I'm taking Tua, shipping him with my first-round pick early, with a second-round pick, with a future first-round pick, maybe a third, to get him over so I can get back to Deshaun Watson. Because that is how you move forward as a franchise. You are already a very good team this year. Congratulations, Miami. You had a fantastic season. You overachieved from a lot of people's standpoints. You were right on par with where I said you'd be, though. That's what counts, that I was right. I know that means a lot to you.
Where Dave was right.
There we go. But not for the reasons I thought. Love how that happens. I do think that Deshaun Watson is a better football player. You take the known quantity. That's like people who were like, who would you rather have today? Trevor Lawrence or our boy Air Bear? The answer is Air Bear. He just had a fucking phenomenal season, and it looks like he will be a star quarterback for the next decade plus. I'm going to take the guy who can do it against guys who are in the NFL versus the guy who might be the best prospect since ever.
That answer could change in a year. Like, that's why I feel like that question.
Today, the answer is Air Bear. It's Justin Herbert. And that's why today, when he asked me, do I want Tua or do I want Deshaun Watson? I'm taking Deshaun Watson 10 out of 10 times.
And
I was a Tua guy during the weeks when we were talking about Tua versus Fitzy. I was riding the Tua I was right at the front of that parade, man.
And that's why with me, I think that there's a little bit more that plays into this question, because the only reason why the Jets aren't in the, or not the Jets, we're just talking about the Jets, why the Dolphins are not in the same position that the Washington football team is in right now is because they made the trade or basically they traded Laramie Tunsil to the Texans and got their pick. If the Dolphins do not have the 3rd overall pick right now, we are looking at this very differently because they're not going to get, they're not either going to get DeVonta Smith or Penny Sewell at 3. They're not going to have the option to, hey, we can take Sewell at 3 because we can get a wide receiver at 18, or we could take a wide receiver and get a tackle or a guard later at 18. The only reason is they have 2 picks. And for me, I love the Lawrence Air Bear question you bring up, because it's, do you want to go for the right now, or do you want to build for the future? Because I feel like
it's proven.
I feel like coming into this year, it was they got to build for the future. Have a solid year this year. No one was thinking 10-6. Dave was the only one riding that bandwagon that I saw. I had them a lot less. I think I had them 5 6 wins at the most. I think I probably had them 4 or 5 wins. But it's something to where we had low expectations coming in. Expectations are now higher because of what they did this year. And for me, I can't put my finger on whether adding Deshaun Watson makes this team a bona fide contender for a Super Bowl in the AFC. The question I have to ask myself is, Deshaun Watson on the Dolphins, makes them a playoff team. That's for damn sure. But are they going to be in the territory that the Browns, Ravens, and Titans are in, where you may win a wild card game, you may lose a wild card game, but when you get to the divisional playoffs, you'll lose, which I feel like the Ravens will be in, the Browns will probably be in, although I will be rooting for the Browns against the Chiefs. To me, it comes down to, and this is the question I have, is next season with Deshaun Watson. Yes, this team can add some stuff in free agency, and that changes things. Mm-hmm. Can this team with Deshaun Watson beat the Bills and the Chiefs if they have to in the playoffs, and win 3 games if they have to in the playoffs?
I think they absolutely could. Okay. I think they address the running back position. I think their defense is excellent, but they can continue to tack on there. Offensively, they've got great tight ends. I expect them to add, another weapon at the wide receiver position, not an early pick, but a mid-round pick on the wide receiver, take a shot on somebody to add some more firepower to that team. But this is a very good, well-rounded roster already, and I think that adding Deshaun Watson absolutely puts them in the conversation. With what we're seeing of the Steelers being dead, just dead, I think they could be the 3rd best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I think they could jump
the Ravens because I like Deshaun Watson more than I like Lamar Jackson. I like what's going on in Miami. They're on the upswing, whereas no offense to the Ravens, this is very much we're trying to prove we're legit because this is the first year we've won the playoffs moment for them. So, we'll see, but I just think that Deshaun Watson has such an it factor to his game. He has the ability to extend plays, make throws that are just insane. He has the balls to make those throws where you're like, no. Yes. Yeah. He has those kind of plays, and that gets you everywhere in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That is one thing that makes him special. That's why I think that taking him and putting him on this team that already won 10 games, I think it elevates that to being in that fight for 3-4 in the AFC.
Here's the only problem with it is I agree with you that record-wise with Deshaun Watson, the Dolphins could be the 3rd best team record-wise. Here's the problem with the standings, though. They're in the Bills division. I think this year, yet again, the Bills have to play up to where I think they're going to be. I think this team is going to the Super Bowl. When they go to the Super Bowl, people's eyes are going to be opened of, even if they lose in the Super Bowl, people are going to be like, wow, this Bills team fucking might be for real. Now, if they lose Brian Daboll this offseason, that may hurt the offense. Let's see what happens there. But this Bills team is going to be good. They are going to be my favorites to win the division next year. So the Dolphins might be in a situation where it's like, all right, we've got the third best record. We're 12-4, but because we're not a division winner, we're fifth. So we have to go to basically either, I'll ask you, Baltimore or Cleveland, who you put the odds on to be the favorite next year? Baltimore to win the division because the Steelers fall back? Or do the Browns have a better year than they did this year? The Ravens and Browns were tied record-wise, basically. So it's a crapshoot.
I have a hard time answering that question. I don't know yet.
Sake of argument.
Ravens have issues to answer at wide receiver. We'll see.
For the sake of argument, let's say it's Baltimore. Let's say Baltimore's what? Baltimore's 4, and then Tennessee is they win again and they're 3. That means at 5, the Dolphins would then have to go to a game in Baltimore, which I think they could win that one. But it's the thing that's going to be hard for the Dolphins, unless they are sure that they can win the division, is they'll have to go on the road in week 1, on the road in week 2, on the road in week 3, which has been done before, but it's very hard to do. And I feel like, yes, the timeline might make sense for Watson to be in Miami and Tua to be in Houston. But there's also a part of me of the Dolphins of, do we for sure, because of this year, jump on it and go, yes, we need to get in there? Or is it a, nope, we're going to play this one easy, we're going to keep our picks, we're going to play it smart, and we're going to develop with Tua? Because I feel like Tua could be their quarterback of the future, but I do agree that Deshaun Watson elevates them instantly next year to be someone that can fight in the playoffs.
What else do they need for a team to fight in the playoffs? That's my question is what is the gap outside of quarterback that Miami needs to address? Obviously, they traded away a good corner. They can go get another corner. It's not really a problem. Like you said, they have draft capital, even outside of the trade. So, where are they falling short? Is it just that you think Deshaun Watson's not a better quarterback? Do you think that overall they don't have the talent to overcome what the Bills, who I think have overachieved this year, or they're just the juggernaut that is the fucking Chiefs?
I feel like the team around Deshaun Watson will be because I look at their wide receivers and it's like, if they get an Allen Robinson, that changes things because he's better than all the wide receivers they have. I haven't been really ever high on DeVonta Parker. I don't think he's the number 1 wide receiver that they need. Gesicki's good. I like Myles Gaskin, Washington guy, got to rep him, but I feel like they can up the running back position. Having a running back, yet again, he missed some games this year because of the injury, but it's you need a running back that's going to be more than a 580-yard guy to basically be successful. For me, it's yet again, are they going to... And there's some running backs in this draft that I like maybe in the 3rd round if they get a Chuba Hubbard, who Oklahoma State Cowboy, who I really liked last year, came back for another year, and this year played 3 games before sitting out the season. JD and I were just talking about him last night. If they fall into one of him, he could be something special, but it's just if you get Deshaun Watson, it puts pressure. What? They could get Aaron Jones. What?
What if they just sign Aaron Jones?
What if? I thought your microphone cut out a little bit, and I thought you said just signed Aaron Jones. I was like, wait, he's still on the Packers. You're right, though. If they do sign Aaron Jones, that change, yet again, free agency changes these discussions, but right at this moment, I wouldn't make a trade if I'm Miami. Wait how free agency goes, see what you even get. See if guys actually want to come play for you, because I know the weather's nice, but yet again, it could be a situation... It could be a situation where teams look at them and then go, "Nah, I'm not that confident. I'm gonna go over here."
Don't play for one of the best coaches in the NFL, someone who turned around a franchise in 2 years, and someone who's done nothing but piss excellence. That's probably what I would say. I don't want to keep more money because I'm playing in Florida. That all seems like a terrible situation to me. I'm not favorable there. I'm gonna play in Chicago probably instead, and just hate my life when it comes to the month of December.
I'm not saying Chicago, Dave. I mean,
Detroit,
Florida. Florida does have a lot of benefits to it. It would be smart to go there, but if there is another team that is a playoff team and X player thinks that's a better situation than Miami, because the thing that a free agent will have to answer is how much of a fluke was this season? The Dolphins are going to need another season to show, was this a fluke or was it not a fluke?
With 2 quarterbacks. Could you imagine if they had someone who is a all fucking NFL caliber quarterback? Like, we're talking about one of the best young rising stars in the NFL.
Jake is just
and you're like, nah, don't go all in on him. I'm ignoring that idiot chat.
That idiot in chat. But Dave, any final thoughts on this? Because I feel like
saying the Bears shouldn't try to get Deshaun Watson. Like, nah, we got some other holes. Let's address the other holes in the team, guys. We don't really need to go get a quarterback. We don't want to win early.
I think the Bears situation is a little bit different because,
I'm gonna fucking ban Jake in about a minute here. He's not gonna get on the show.
Don't hate the truth. I look at the Bears and that's a situation where
we have a great defense like Miami.
That's getting wasted.
That has some talent to it, but not enough talent. We need to address the offensive line.
Coach and GM, that's the problem. Like that's
they have those. That's what I'm saying. Like I would still drop a left nut to get Deshaun Watson on the I don't understand why you think Miami is like, nah, Tua will be fine. He'll figure it out in year 2. I think Tua will get better in year 2. That's my question. If you don't want, oh no, it's going to happen.
So the monitor's falling? Is that what it's doing?
Yep. I'm holding it up. I got to put down this. If you don't think that you need to go get Deshaun Watson, how are you going to address the problem of Tua not having the confidence to throw downfield, not having the footwork to throw off of his both feet and throw into things instead of throwing off his back foot and being wildly inaccurate when he does try to throw downfield?
I feel like we are over magnifying the Tua can't throw downfield. I feel like with work, he can do that in the NFL because we saw him have big plays. You're fine. We saw him have big plays in college. The only reason why I'm iffy about this goes down to yet again, whether you do it or don't do it for the Dolphins, it is a risk. It is a calculated risk either way because there's 2 alternate futures. Is
Deshaun Watson the franchise quarterback?
I would say 2 is more of the franchise quarterback than Deshaun Watson. And here's why. And here's why.
Fucking wow.
Like I said, there's 2 alternate futures or alternate realities. There's a reality where they trade for Deshaun Watson and 4 technically. There's the trade for Deshaun Watson, the 2 things that could happen. Either it pans out, they go really far, Deshaun Watson does great, they have playoff success, possibly even a Super Bowl. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario then is Deshaun Watson doesn't win anything. They go to the playoffs and lose in the playoffs a lot with Deshaun Watson. Tua flourishes with the Texans, and people are then looking at, remember when they had Tua and they traded Tua for Deshaun Watson? Yet again, anything can happen. Or the other side where they keep Tua. They could keep Tua, and then people go, oh man, remember when they could have traded for Deshaun Watson and they didn't? Or the side where they keep Tua and Tua flourishes with that team because they stuck with their guy and then no one's thinking about it because Tua was successful. It's just, which side do you have confidence in? And to me, I don't even know
developing than you do in Deshaun Watson being highly successful.
Yes. I have more confidence in Tua developing overall than I do in Deshaun Watson coming in because I feel like after this season, people are going to take the Bills a lot more seriously, and the Bills are going to cock block. No. It's important, though, because I feel like what I was going to say is the Bills will cock block the Dolphins like the Patriots cock block the Bills. That's what I feel like.
Better than any other fucking team in the league. I think that this is an excellent year for them, and I think it's wonderful that, Stephon Diggs unlocked the ability for Josh Allen to throw the ball deep at a historic rate.
I feel like they're better than the Dolphins, even with Deshaun Watson. That's my problem.
We'll balance out. I think Deshaun Watson on the Miami Dolphins, plus the additions they will get in free agency in the draft, will put them in a position where they can compete for a fucking top slot and be a continual playoff team. And again, Deshaun Watson, a top fucking quarterback in the NFL. Tua Tagovailoa, you're going to literally have the argument about like what you framed earlier, like literally seconds ago, was oh man, remember when the Bears could have drafted a quarterback who wasn't Mitch Trubisky? They're gonna have to hear that conversation every fucking game because remember when we could have got Deshaun Watson? That's going to be that.
Like I said, that's one of the realities. Like, to me, I don't know for sure. I don't have enough confidence in either one panning out, in either Tua being the guy that wins a Super Bowl or Deshaun Watson winning a Super Bowl. I don't. I have
quarterback, Ricky. That's where my brain is short fucking wiring.
He is. But the thing is, the price that you're going to have to give up for Deshaun Watson, because it's not going to just be Tua. It's going to be draft picks on top of it. I'm telling you, I don't. You
got for Laramie Tunsil, so that's like free.
But I'm saying, even with Deshaun Watson, I don't have the confidence in the Dolphins overcoming the Bills or the fucking Chiefs in the playoffs. And at that point, no. Like, you're going to try to do that. I'm just saying, like, I don't see it happening to where Deshaun Watson makes this team better, but it only makes them better to fail in the end, to where I feel like we're overreacting to Tua. Like, Tua had one season. What rookie do you know that steps in after an injury that he had and is phenomenal right out of the gates?
He got benched 3 times in one season. His coach has no confidence in him to finish a game because he has no confidence to throw the ball down the fucking field.
That is more. I put that more on the coach, not putting the confidence in his player.
Team.
Like, I put that more on the coach. You got to fucking coach your guy up so he has the confidence then. A guy you drafted at number 5. If that's the case, then are we going to hear that Flores didn't want Tua and the Dolphins drafted Tua? Like, is that what we're going at here? Because if Flores was like, yeah, Tua would work here, then it's on the coach to build up the confidence of his player. That's all I'm saying. Like, yet again.
I think it's just best to move on.
It's good if the Dolphins trade for Watson. I just don't know if I pulled that pin right now. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if I pull that deal right now. Dave, time to call on the lefty. Time to bring him in. Dave's like, I'm leaving this call.
I can't fucking believe the disrespect for Deshaun Watson. Jake, get in here.
I'll move. Okay.
Jake, I want to hear just to end the segment. Jake, am I in here? Am I on the? Am I jumping off the fucking deep end here?
Okay. Let me just word this.
Like, I can't have a take here. I can't have
a take. You can have a take, but I'm just gonna. This is the classic, like, conversation of...
This is the fast break all over again. I get it. It's the fast break all over again. Ricky can't have an opinion of his own.
I'm going to tell you what it is. It's talking about potential versus current actual value.
Yes.
Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and he's under the age of 30.
Yes, facts.
You have a chance to get... It's my opinion. You can have a different opinion.
You're spitting facts right now. I'm agreeing with you.
If you have the chance at any point to trade for a top 5 quarterback under the age of 30, you give up whatever the fuck that team wants. Listen, and I know I'm going to bring the Saints up. If the Saints traded 6 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, I'd be like, all right, we're going to dominate the NFC for the next 7 years. So,
yes, but you have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. Your quarterbacks suck compared to Tua.
Taysom actually had better stats than Tua all year.
Taysom, not a real quarterback.
That's true, though.
Taysom's a bona fide backup. Bona fide backup.
I mean, so was Tua. He got benched 4 times.
1 year. Yet again. We're not going to see eye to eye here, like Dave said. We're getting off the Tua bandwagon after 1 year because what fucking rookie is hitting 1 year?
I'm just saying, you take the guy who has done it against professionals versus the guy who
I'm not saying it would be a dumb trade if they trade for Watson. Yes. I just don't know if it helps them win a Super Bowl because of the teams ahead of them in the AFC. That's all I'm saying.
But do you think? Okay, but then what would be the value in keeping Tua at that point then?
I feel like you can with this team, yet again, it's going to also determine, like I said, do free agents come to this team? They could, and if they do, then Watson would be the best. But there's not a bona fide, like, we are not sure if free agents are going to go to Miami. We do not know that. We got to wait and see.
They've been pretty good the last couple years.
All I'm saying is we got to wait and see. I don't pull the trigger right now.
I'm a Tua guy.
Dave's going off like it's crazy weekend here.
I am on the Tua band. I love Tua. I loved him since his first year at Alabama. But Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback. You go get him. Yes. Will Fuller might follow him to Miami, and then you actually got a receiver. It's like, it's just like, I hope they don't trade for him because then the Saints can. Mm-hmm. So keep Tua. Go Miami.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it. Bye.
Let's talk some baseball, Jake. Jesus.
Dan, we'll talk about the best sport in the world. Let's go.
So bringing Jake on because there were some big baseball news that happened last night. Brandon Swanson is fucking ecstatic. He's like, let's go, White Sox, baby, White Sox. And we're talking about the White Sox. Let me see if I can find, nope, that's that one. There we go. White Sox, they sign Liam Hendriks to a multi-year deal. So free agent closer Liam Hendriks and the White Sox are in agreement on a multi-year deal pending physical. It's going to be a 3-year, which includes an option for the 4th, guarantees Hendriks $54 million. The 31-year-old closer. Jake, I'm going to hit you right out of the gates with a question that may be a hot take. We're going to 10 right away. Are the White Sox the favorite in the AL?
No, I don't think they're the favorites in the AL. I think they are. I mean, there is definitely going to be a 3-4 team race in the AL this year. But getting Liam Hendriks, getting one of the last needs that this team actually needs. Now, giving him that much money, we can talk about that after a little bit later. But that's a lot of money for a reliever. But you are getting one of, if not the best closers in baseball. And now this moves Colome, who was good last year, to the 7th or 8th inning role, depending on what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, Liam Hendriks is a bona fide stud. His fastball and slider are amazing. He's got a curveball. I mean, he's in the 98th percentile for K strikes, K percentage, sorry. And he's in the 98th percentile for walk percentage. He doesn't walk people. He strikes out people a ton. He throws gas, and he's been consistent for now a couple years. So, I mean, this is what you needed. You needed a closer. You needed a guy that gives you a bona fide, like the Cubs did with Chapman. That's what they needed. They needed that bona fide closer, and that's what the White Sox went out and did. And he's going into his 32-year-old season. So, I mean, it's a great move all around for the White Sox.
And I'm glad you brought up the Cubs, because the White Sox, to me, the reason why I feel like if you're a White Sox fan right now, be fucking ecstatic for this season, because I have a feeling that I see a lot of parallels with what they are doing compared to what the Cubs did when they made the firing to fire. I find it ironic that Rick Renteria gets fired both times when this happens, by the way. Too.
Sad man.
Ricky Renteria fired by the Cubs. Joe Madden comes in. I'll be honest, Joe Madden a better hire than Tony La Russa. I was a little questioning on that, but we'll see if it pans out. But they've got a good young core, what the Cubs had when they went on their World Series runs and NLCS runs. You've added your closer. You added your closer like Chapman. The only difference is I kind of like the multi-year part, because now it's like if it hits, and you have him next year. Because the one thing we have learned is that pitching rules in the postseason. You need pitchers to have a good postseason. And right now I look at the AL, I feel like all the moves we've talked about, Jake, the Padres, the Mets, all these NL teams are getting better. I have a feeling like we haven't talked at all about any AL teams making some big moves. I feel like the next big piece to drop is DJ LeMahieu in my mind. Of where does he go? I don't even know if the White Sox are even in on that chatter to get a DJ LeMahieu. Everything I've heard with LeMahieu is Toronto fans hoping that he signs with the Blue Jays. But you look at Tampa Bay, they traded Blake Snell. They're done. They're not going to be as good as they were last year. The Yankees and Toronto are probably the favorites atop that division. Oakland and maybe Houston, depending on what Houston does. But correct me if I'm wrong. George Springer still a free agent right now, or is that next year?
Correct.
Okay.
He's a free agent still. Yep.
So he might not even be back in Houston.
Not.
Probably Oakland is your top spot. Maybe if either Seattle, LA, or Texas surprise us. And in the Central, the Cleveland's falling back. They don't have Lindor or Carrasco next year. I know they got pieces to help them win, but they're not Lindor or Carrasco. And I feel like the Sox have done enough to maybe overtake the Twins, where this could be a team that if the Yankees and Toronto struggle, the Twins aren't proven to be a playoff threat. This White Sox team may be the favorites in the playoffs when we get to actually game one of playoff baseball.
Yeah, I mean, baseball is very unpredictable, but also at the same time pretty predictable. It's basically
one injury can fuck your season too, but that's any sport.
Completely. I wouldn't be so dismissive of the Rays. The Rays are probably the second best run franchise in the league, and they always make these puzzling moves, and then they're winning.
It works out.
And then they're winning 90 to 95 games the next season. Yeah. It's just what they do. Yeah, it's very hard right now. You could say the White Sox are the favorite if you'd like, because a lot of things haven't fallen. Dominoes, we don't know where players are going to be. We know, I know JD saying Toronto for DJ. It was reported today the only team that's actually made an offer to DJ is the Yankees. So most likely he's going to end up back with the Yankees. It just depends, money and value, and all, unless somebody comes in and just throws money at him, which Mets or the Dodgers, whoever could, and that could change everything. But
I forgot the Mets are in on him too.
Reportedly, I don't know if I think those were bait headline. It's whatever. I think
you're like, besides the point.
Yeah, besides the point. I think Minnesota is one of those teams, also like the Rays, it's just always really well run. But guess what? They get to the postseason and they lose. They've lost, they've lost like 18 straight postseason games or something like that. Like they're just they're not good. So the White Sox, they add Adam Eaton, they add Lance Lynn, they add Liam Hendriks. I mean, they literally fixed basically every need they had going into this offseason. And now, if they can stay healthy during the season, whatever happens in this season, they're saying 162 games. I don't understand how they're going to do that, but I mean, the White Sox are setting themselves up and probably have had the second best offseason in the league behind the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm looking at their rotation right now, and like you mentioned some of them right now. The projected starting rotation for the Sox is Giolito, Keuchel, Lynn, and then Cease and Kopech, who are entering what year? They're 25, and basically Kopech's almost 25. He's 24.7.
If Kopech plays.
Yeah, that too. My question is with the bullpen is, do they need to make another move at some point, whether trade middle of the season, free agency, if there's someone out there? Because like Liam Hendriks is nice as a closer. Right now, yet again, this is just off of, I'm using Fangraphs.com. They have the rest of the pitchers in the bullpen being Aaron Bummer, Evan Marshall, Garrett Crochet, I hope I'm saying that right, Cody Hewer, Jace Fry, Matt Foster, and then Reynaldo Lopez. Is there a question of like, is it just me because the Sox bullpen, I'm not an expert on, Liam Hendriks is good. Do they have to add yet another, maybe one or two bullpen arms to make this bullpen really solid?
Yeah, I mean, that's always an option. Pitching, we see a lot with teams that contend. What do you say?
I said it dominates in the playoffs, like I was saying.
Unless you're playing the Dodgers. Their lineup is just, all-star, all-star, all-star.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, all-star.
I mean, when Kershaw pitches like he did last year, though, it's kind of hard to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, we talked about it. But yeah, the Dodgers are just the Dodgers, okay? Yeah. I mean, not every year, but for a majority of the teams that are contending every single year, there's always two or three bullpen arms that float out there around the trade deadline. And the teams that trade for them are always teams that are trying to make it to the World Series. There's something about adding another layer of security when you get to the postseason, like obviously the Indians and the Cubs in 2016 with Miller and Chapman. Yeah. The Yankees, you can see how important a bullpen guy is, just because the big thing in the playoffs is getting the bridge. You want to get from your starter to your back end relievers, but you need that one guy in the middle that can hold down, because usually in the postseason you might get 5 or 6 innings out of your starter, and then you need that 7th inning guy. Depending
on your coach too, because there are some times where coaches, if he's struggling in the third minorly, it, we're going to the bullpen. We have seen more, and I feel like more and more through my life as I've gotten older, the one trend that has been catching on is going away from the starter earlier and not being like, well, he's in there for 5 innings, good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing, because the Rays especially, that's why Blake Snell got so frustrated, because and somebody said when he got traded to San Diego, he can finally pitch past 5 innings because he won't be hooked so much by the team. And again, I can't really criticize the Rays because they were in the World Series and won games against the Dodgers.
Was it in the World Series where they had that puzzling, it was the third inning and everyone's like, why the fuck are you taking him off? And Mad Rogue is right. Cough, cough, Joe Madden. I was used to that all the time, where it's like, why the fuck you taking Hendriks out in the 4th? And it's like, it panned out. Okay.
It's weird. Baseball is so, but then there's the Yankees who take, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. There's times where it's gone wrong.
Inning. What the hell?
Yeah.
No. Analytics almost go too far at some point. But I mean, bullpen is always so important, and when baseball is such a weird sport, because this guy the last 2 years has been first or second. Him and Kirby Yates, you can swap between being first and second best closers in baseball.
Yeah.
But then if you look at his stats from the years before, he was mediocre at best. Relievers are just so hit and miss year to year that is why this contract. Well, it's 3 years, but
look at Kimbrel. Look at Kimbrel with the Cubs. Phenomenal. Cubs sign him. He's giving up home runs like they're fucking candy at a doctor's office.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, relievers flip flop. I was gonna make a joke. Realize we're on Twitch. Gonna retract that one. but so and this is actually one of something that's been talked about more is these contracts where he's guaranteed $54 million, but it could either be stretched over 4 years or they could stop after 3 years and they pay him over a lump sum of years. I don't know. It hasn't come out how long it is after the contract, but it's pretty interesting. The MLB has
Bobby Bonilla 2.0. They're paying him fucking 20 years down the line for July 1st.
Yeah. See, like JD said, he wasn't that great with the Blue Jays, but then he goes to a team like the Oakland A's, who are so Moneyball driven, analytically driven, and it takes him a couple years but the last 2 years, I mean, he's absolutely been. He was 9th in Cy Young voting this year. Okay, as a reliever, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah,
he was 13th in MVP voting. It's crazy.
Here's my thought process, and yet again, this is kind of why, if I'm a White Sox fan, or if you're a White Sox fan, I would be happy. Is I almost feel like go into this season with expectations being make the playoffs, possibly win the division. I think winning the division could be, because you were only a game out last year. I know last year was a little different because it was the shortened season. I think that played into it. Longer games, there's a lot more of like teams get into slumps. They go on heaters at different times. It's a different fucking season entirely. But if this team can crack through to the ALCS, I feel like your best scenario is make the playoffs. Whatever happens, happens. That's what you should maybe expect. But if this team can make it to the ALCS, then I think if they do make let's say they make the ALCS this year and lose, I think that another free agency season next year, we could be talking about the White Sox next year like the Cubs were going into 2016, where if they make the ALCS this year, they should be a World Series favorite next year.
I mean, I think this White Sox team is going to be very good for a very long time because it actually seems like their owner is now willing to spend money, which is...
I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf, same owner as the Bulls. Like, who knew he wants to spend money to win?
He wants to spend money, and they have an aggressive GM, and he's been doing great move after great move. And I mean, every single year that they Luis Robert gets another 400 at bats under his belt. I mean, this guy is going to be absolutely amazing. Like he's a freak.
I don't know if the window starts this year or next year. That's why I feel like next year may be the official start of the window, but this team may be entering a window soon of a like 3 to 4 year window of like, all right, how many World Series can we get to and win in 4 years? Now with the Cubs, it was 1. And yet again, wouldn't trade that World Series for anything. I'm so happy that happened in my life. But I'll be honest, I would be shocked if in the next 4 years, maybe next 5 years, if it starts next year, that the White Sox aren't in the World Series or winning a World Series.
Yeah, I would also tend to agree. I think their window could open up this year just because the AL, if DJ LeMahieu does leave the Yankees become question mark at best, especially if they don't add pitching. The Blue Jays are very good, but the Blue Jays are just like the White Sox. They're very the Blue Jays and the White Sox are going to be fighting it out in the AL. Yeah. There's obviously going to be the Titans, the Yankees, the Astros are still going to be there. The Astros still have a great team. They have a great front office. I know, bang bang, ha ha.
Do you think Oakland's still there because they won the division this year?
I mean, again, they're just like the Rays and Twins that we talked about. They don't pay a lot of money, but they have such good front offices and they set themselves so well up and all. There's always those annoying teams. Do I think the A's are ever going to win a World Series in the next 4 years? No. But could they be a pain in the ass for the White Sox and make the White Sox have to go play in a wild card game? Probably.
Yeah. I mean, the only question with will the White Sox win a World Series in the next 5 years, we'll say, is if they have to go up against the Dodgers or the Padres or even the Mets, if the Mets continue to get well, I'll say more so Padres, Dodgers. There's a part of me that goes good fucking luck because I think I would take the Dodgers or the Padres. in a series against the White Sox either this year or next year.
Listen, I'll make you like bold takes, Ricky?
I do. I love them.
Within the next 5 years, the Chicago White Sox will lift a World Series trophy.
I don't think that's that bold. I think I'd double down on that with you.
That's pretty bold.
And that's coming from a Cubs fan that I'd double down on.
I know.
That. But I would kind of hate it because I know how White Sox fans are, and I'd fucking never hear the end of it. I never heard the end of it in 05 because the Cubs didn't have one. Now to be like, oh, fuck, you got one, but you can't have two like us. Like, can't we just be happy for each other? Like, can't that be a thing?
We be friends?
Yeah, and we'll never be friends. Southside, Northside, till the day we die. But Jake, thank you for coming on, talking baseball with me. Fucking love it. I love the conversations that we have. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome anytime, bud. But that's going to do it for the show today. Make sure, remember, join the Discord if you're not in it already. Link down below, or !Discord into Twitch chat. You can support us either one of two ways, patreon.com/MVPvids, or you can throw a sub to us on Twitch. If you have Prime Gaming, haven't used it, Amazon gives it to you each and every month. Why not throw it at us? Support us, even for the 1 month. We would appreciate it. We're always on Twitch Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. And we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Go ahead and have a great day. Dave and I will be back tomorrow talking more sports for you guys. And as always, have a good day, everybody.